Alright, so, probably bunch of different games. Call of Juarez, definitely one of them. I don't know, I have one of them, but it's such an old game in its own right, but it's like really good. And on that theme, I would also really like to try Red Dead Revolver. Um, Never really played it that much, and I actually hear that it's kind of hard, at least at the end. Um, Really good series, really. It's the predecessor to Red Dead Redemption. Doesn't apparently relate in story or canon, whatever. Sorry about the weird aftershave. It's kind of not aftershave. The shade shadow. It's messing with me. This new lamp isn't helping. Uh, what else? Bunch of games that I've been trying to play. Um, I have Inscription, but I haven't actually played it long. I don't know. I'm not that good at using my brain, so a card game like Inscription was a little hard for me. But I'd like to get good at that game. I don't really want to finish it. Well, I also want that, but I mainly just for the moment want to uh you know get good at it. I don't know. I want to set up that Ouroboros trick. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. The Ouroboros trick where you like get infinite damage. That would be cool. I saw some people doing that. It's a cool setup. I'm pretty sure you can get an achievement by doing 666 damage over the limit, which would be cool. Um, and I'm not. Here's the thing about me. I used to play a tons of games on the Xbox 360, but we didn't actually have a lot of interesting games, surprisingly. Like I was kind of a demo kid. I played a lot of demos to games. I played so many demos of games. I don't even remember if they were good. Because they're so short. I don't even remember what I've played and what I've played. With the Xbox 360 stuff, that was like one of my favorite, probably my favorite console. Even if it's incredibly old and dated and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of the good old days that everybody else says who are older than me wore. Like when they say, "Oh, the good old days of gaming," they usually bring up Xbox 360 or maybe PlayStation 3, but generally it's Xbox 360 because Xbox 360 is better than PlayStation 3. I would definitely say. I mean, can we agree on that at least? Like historically and nostalgically, even if you never had one, you could probably agree that Xbox 360 was more popular than the PlayStation 3. Um, just in sheer vibe, I guess. I don't know how else you would call that. How would you describe it? It's a good console. And anyway, I played on that. We had tons of games for it, but none of them really clicked. We had like three different copies of Left 4 Dead, three different copies of Resident Evil 6, even though we never played a Resident Evil 6. We had some like party games for family night and stuff like that, but I don't know. I never actually had a huge game collection, and we were kind of poor back then, for sure. We didn't have that much. Like, there was no money, extra money for me to buy like games or something like that I wanted. Instead, my parents made up for that by buying me a bunch of different toys like play swords and stuff like that, play guns. Um, and all of that was pretty fun for the time, but of course I'm older now. So when I was watching YouTubers growing up and they always played these amazing games, I more or less spoiled myself on like hundreds of different games that I'll never be able to experience for the first time. I'll never be able to experience it because I've never, I've watched them play and I never played it myself. Um, and experiencing things for the first time is definitely better. Don't think I have to say that. So these games that I want to play, I actually haven't seen that much of, except for Inscription that I talked about. But I haven't seen much about Call of Juarez, almost literally nothing about its story. I've heard, I mean, I have seen a bit of Red Dead Revolver, but I haven't seen it in depth enough. I've seen like challenge ones or something on that. I haven't actually even heard of the story of various large games and franchises like Borderlands 1, 2, and 3. Definitely not 3, but 1 and 2, I barely know the story. I could definitely experience that for the first time. And now that I'm older and my parents have a little bit more expendable money, and though for various reasons of why it's expendable, not sure. Um, I've been buying games like crazy. I my PlayStation 4 used to have like 3 games on it. Bunch of discs, of course. We had like maybe 5 disc games, but we had nothing digital. I did not value how important digital downloads were, especially on the Xbox 360. I have literally nothing on the Xbox 360 like cemented. I don't have digital downloads of that. So all the unique games and stuff like Xbox 360 exclusives and stuff, obviously I could probably buy them somewhere in disc form, but I won't be able to download the stuff manually. Like digitally. I mean, which is a shame. A big part of my childhood, though. Now that I also have a computer, I can always emulate, which is good. Um, but I don't know. There's something better, I think, about playing the games that you want to play on the actual console of which they were intended. You know? Like, of course, you can pirate Mario 64, but it doesn't beat playing Mario 64 on a Mario 64, I mean, a Nintendo 64 console? There's just something about the games in their natural environment that's really cool. I did not intend it to be 7 minutes. I thought I was going to be a lot more on track and just list things off, kind of like the Femboy video. But, I don't know. To top it off, I could talk about other games that I wanted to complete or play at all. Cry of Fear, I ever since the Pyrocynical video, I've been kind of infatuated by it. I actually saw a bunch of content of Cry of Fear before from PewDiePie. I just thought it was kind of cool, that little game. A nice little horror thing. This suited it nicely. My taste nicely. Now I have it. Of course, it's a free mod, so I could play it anytime, but I just haven't gone around to it because I'm not that good at horror stuff, like scary. Um, Another pyrocynical thing, Total Chaos. That just sounds so cool on how he described it. And to top it off, Resident Evil. Any of them. I have not beaten a single Resident Evil game. I know, it's crazy. I haven't beaten a single Resident Evil game, and yet it's like one of my favorite franchises. I don't know why. My parents always played Resident Evil 5. That was the main one that they played all the time. I remember late nights, them on, uh, at the time it wasn't mine, but I remember late nights hearing them play Resident Evil 5 at like 12 to even 1 a.m., stuff like that, just playing Resident Evil 5. Of course, they were also playing sometimes Left 4 Dead, which is an amazing game, and I love that I have it on the PC now. That I can even mod on it and stuff and emulate what my favorite YouTubers were doing back then with Left 4 Dead, like with Vanos Gaming, modding it so it's like Teletubbies or low poly versions of their characters. All of that was amazing to me. Honestly, it was so funny. I miss how games were like that? I miss how casual games are and, you know, non-serious it is. Like every game nowadays, it's like they're making it to be successful. When back then, even just like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, it felt like they weren't making games to be successful. They were making games to make games. They were like trying to push out stories instead of farm money. Like, I have nothing exactly against modern games, but I don't know, there's an unbeatable charm in every game that isn't from this specific decade, probably. Like, I'm a huge fan of I'm a huge fan of Valve games, especially Half Life, Gmod. Even though it's not Valve, I know it's not Valve. I love Source games in general. Half Life, Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress 2, Portal, all of them amazing franchise, 10 out of 10. They struck gold each time. I don't know how they did it, and I don't know how people don't fucking mention it more often. They struck gold with them created multiple franchises, each completely different than the last, and yet each one being monumental. Team Fortress 2 revolutionized modern game like shooters and stuff, I imagine. Had a completely different twist on a lot of stuff. They pretty much popularized not team deathmatch, the popularized push the cart or defend the points like they pretty much made that. Okay? I don't care what anyone else said. They pretty much did that. Half-Life did the same thing with like story driven puzzle games. Portal did the best with like strategy, Portal, like not strategy, Portal, strategy, strategic stuff like that stuff. All Portal. Really good games. All of them. Left 4 Dead, one of the best multiplayer conglomerate games ever. Still an active player base to this day that succeeds its succeeder. It succeeds back to blood in daily players, doesn't it? And that's crazy. Same thing with Payday 2. I'm kind of off track here, but Payday 2 has way more players than Payday 3, and that alone kind of made me laugh. But yeah, in general, Valve just doesn't. Wait, I'm talking about games that I want to play. Whatever. I'm just gonna complete my point. Valve games are just the best. Okay. Source games are the best. They're better. They never flop. No matter what you think, no matter how you believe about Half Life Alex, like what your feelings on it about Half Life Alex, it was still a successful game. Is it the best? No. Was it necessary? No. But if you think about it, I think Half Life Alex was one of the only games that actually one of the best like story driven games in VR, right? It's like a large, like just a huge world that Half Life Alex puts you in. And for a VR game, I don't think that's really been done. The only other game that comes to mind is like Bone Labs or Boneworks, whatever you call it. That's the only one that actually comes to mind other than Half-Life Alex, but other than that, I don't actually remember there ever being a game like Half-Life Alex that is completely story-driven, has so many voice actors, has so many enemies and stuff where you like so much stuff that you engage with, shooting, blah blah blah. I don't think there's any other real game on the market like that. I mean, I could be wrong. You can tell me in the comments if you want, but I just do not remember there being like any games like that. So if you want to say it like that too, it could be you could say that Half-Life Alyx was like the first of its kind in VR. So that means in every asset of gaming in every corner of the gaming space, every category was pretty much dominated by Valve. And if you want to go a little bit further, you could say that Gmod, a non-Valve game, also dominated sandbox, do whatever you want type game. That definitely did it. Also, set the precedent for like heavily moddable games or whatever. They're games like where they encourage you to mod or something. Gmod literally is modding. Like, you don't play Gmod to have the stock assets. You play Gmod to play Gmod with the mods. You can't see my hand, but I'm doing this like I'm scrolling or something. Anyway, on track again. I always wanted to play all these different games because I couldn't really even play the games I wanted to when I was younger. you know? I couldn't buy them. I couldn't do anything like that because I was just a kid. I didn't scrimp for money or whatever like a lot of other people probably would have. The PS4 wasn't even in my grasp for a while. It was my mother's, but then eventually she never really had use out of the PS4, so I just straight up asked my mom if I could have it, and she said yeah. I now have a respectable amount of games on my PlayStation 4. I just got an Xbox Series X. Nope, Xbox Series S, my first new gen console in the new gen space. You know, I've never had that. When Xbox One was out, I was still on Xbox 360. I guess I was on a modern console when I was playing with the PS4, but a while ago, but still. You know, I have so many games now, not just on PlayStation. I also have a fully stocked library on Steam and Epic Games. And I'm just so happy. And now that I actually have the ability to play games, I'm going to try to be a little bit more spontaneous in what I want to play. If I always thought once that I want to play a small indie game that has almost zero reviews or something like that, and just some weird video that I remembered when I was 5, then you know what? I'm going to play it. Probably. Depends how much it is. But yeah, these are games that I always wanted to play. And I hope me just kind of chatting about all the games that I like and my desire to want to play these games and that I never could before inspires you to take it up as well. Play a few games that you've wanted to play, that games that you forgot about. Because there's always like the mindset of, oh, I can always do it later. I can always play the game later. It's not going anywhere. But by that logic, so are you. You're not going anywhere. I mean, you're not really, you're not always busy. You're not always, you don't always have to be overworked, you know? If you're not going specifically anywhere and you have access to the things you want, then why not take them? Even if it does impede a little bit on your life, like your life is still going to be waiting for you. You can play games and enjoy life at the same time and be more spontaneous with the gaming and later on spontaneous with your life. Like, there's no real thing setting us back. So, right now, I'm gonna turn this video off. I'm gonna hop on my computer and I'm gonna play a game that I've been putting off because, oh, it's too long, or I'm gonna have to relearn everything, or blah 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 blah. I'm gonna play some games that I've been putting off because the games are great. Games are great. I fucking love games, just in general. The whole idea of them, whole stories and worlds in our hands that we can control. People are always fucking whining or whatever about graphics and blah blah blah. I'm over here, I would be happy with 720 ping, 720p, 30 FPS. I would be okay with that, and I won't complain because I'm just happy that games exist. Now, I know that I didn't really list that many options of things that I wanted to play, even though that it's going to be the title. Games I've been wanting to play. That's going to be the title, obviously. That is the title. So I'm kind of new at this, talking like this. Even though that is going to be the title, and I haven't really done much to like list the games I wanted to play, I don't know. I feel like adding in some context in that situation makes it better. But if you really want like a full-on list or something, I can add in a few more. Naughty Bear, that game traumatized me as a kid, in a good way. The Saw games, I was traumatized by Saw when I was younger. Didn't really get to play it, any games like that for obvious reasons. But you know what? I want to play that now. Any Lego game. I have not finished a single fucking Lego game in my life. I have had opportunities, but I never did it. Not once. I've gotten close on like Pirates of the Caribbean Lego and Batman. One of the Batmans. There's many Batman Lego. Um, what else? I could actually finish Red Dead Redemption 2. I haven't finished that. I finished Red Dead Redemption 1. I'm happy with myself that by doing that. I want to try and learn the mechanics of Fallout 1, Fallout 2, stuff like that. Play them because they're good games. And it's only dated because of the controls. What else? What other game do I want to play? Let's see. God, this is kind of fun. Until Dawn, cool game. Uh, you know what? I think that's a good place to leave it. This video is already 20 minutes. I meant for it to be like 5 minutes. See you later. And once again, be a little more spontaneous.